Hello, everybody. Hi there. Thank you so much for joining me today. You are in an OET speaking session with Swoosh English, and my name is Grace. It's very nice to see everybody already saying hello in the chat. Before we begin, I want to do a quick sound check to check that everybody can hear me nice and clearly. So hopefully you can. And hello and good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, to Sumit, Nayani, Evie, Roma, Magda. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. It's really great to have you here. Yeah. Hello, good evening, Sumit. So we've got lots of things planned for this session today. We're going to be focusing on tips for OET speaking. So if you're planning on taking the OET speaking test, this session is for you. We've also got some information coming up about some exciting opportunities to join a speaking masterclass with Swoosh English. So please do stay tuned for that today. Let me say hello to some more people. Hi, Nimi and Chipego and Kathleen from the Philippines. Hello. Oh, it must be the evening for you. So I'm coming to you all from Mexico today, and it is 8 o'clock in the morning. So I am just beginning my day. Okay, everybody. Now I'm going to show you what we've got planned for the session today. So let me share our lesson aims. Okay. So we are going to learn and review the scoring criteria for OET speaking. We will learn about the appropriate kinds of open and closed questions that you should ask, as well as those to avoid. So some very useful tips coming up about that. Take part in or listen to OET role plays. So I will be inviting some people to come in and do some live OET role play practice with me and get some feedback. So please do stay tuned for that later. And you can, of course, listen to the feedback that I give on student performance and also give your own. And at the end, we'll have a little bit of time for question and answer. So if you have questions for me about OET speaking, you can pop them into the comments and I will answer them at the end of the session. So before we get on with the class, I would like to show you an opportunity you have here to join our free online OET preparation masterclass. So if you want more expert tips and advice to pass your OET exam the first time, then you're in the right place. So if you stay with me until the end of the session, I will tell you how to join the OET preparation masterclass. Now, in these sessions, we give you exam preparation strategies and methods. We also give you tips and activities on all 4 OET skills, so reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And your questions will be answered live, so it's a great opportunity for you to come with those all-important OET questions to have us answer them for you. And there are, of course, other bonuses and surprises along the way. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, stick with me and I will be telling you how you can join this free OET masterclass very, very soon. So we're going to begin with a couple of questions, and I would love everybody to tell me in the comments or in the chat, what do you plan to do when you pass your OET? So I'm assuming that everyone watching here has a plan to take their OET, but what about afterwards? What are you planning to do? Let me know in the comments. Are you planning to go to a particular country? If so, which country? What are you planning to do when you get there? So what job are you hoping to do once you've passed your OET? So I'm sure we've got lots of people joining us from all different healthcare professions today. Let me know in the comments, what do you plan to do? So I can see some people still saying hello. Hi, everybody. Okay, so Sumit has told us that you are planning to move to the United States. That's exciting. Do you know where in the United States? Do you have a place in mind? What about everybody else? What are you planning to do? Have you got some exciting plans once you've passed your OET? Let me know in the comments. So we've got a couple of people, pursue my nursing career in the UK or Ireland. Lovely. Chipago says, relocate to the UK and work as a nurse. Excellent, very nice. Oh, Sumit, you want to go to Boston. Lovely. I think it's quite cold there. Make sure you have a nice warm jacket, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Another person, Joy, wants to move to the UK. Yeah, you'll probably need a warm jacket for the UK as well. It depends on where you're coming from, though. Oh, lovely. Plan to move to the UK, says Nobi. Okay, lots of people planning to move to the UK. Well, first, we need to pass that OET, so I'm here to help you do that today. So I've got another question for you now. What is your biggest challenge with OET speaking? So we are here today to talk about the speaking test and do some practice, but I want to know what your biggest challenge is with OET speaking. Maybe you find that your nerves really impact you on the day of the speaking test. Maybe you struggle to remember vocabulary and grammar that you should be using. Perhaps you find it difficult to ask questions. If that's the case, you're in the right place today because we're going to look at some questions that you can ask in your OET roleplay. So let me know in the comments your biggest challenge with OET speaking. Okay, we've got, Joy, you're joining us from Bangladesh. Lovely. It's a little bit warmer in Bangladesh than it is in the UK, I think. Akia says, relocate to the UK and work as a nurse. Excellent. Well, good luck with that. Okay, so Joy says that your biggest challenge with OET speaking is gathering information from patients and ideas to give your answer. Okay, so today we are going to look at how to gather information from patients because we're going to look at different types of questions that you should be asking. So I'm glad you said that, Joy, and hopefully at the end of this session, that won't be such a challenge for you. Rumana also says it's difficult to ask questions, sometimes not knowing how to explain. That can be a challenge in the OET roleplay, knowing how to explain things so that the patient will understand, but also asking questions. So Rumana, this session is also for you. Hopefully I can help you with that a little bit today. Okay. All right. So keep letting me know in the comments what you find most challenging with OET speaking. Okay. So let's move on then. We're going to talk about questions. First question type we're going to talk about today are open questions. Okay. So what are open questions? Does anybody know what are open questions? What does that mean? Got a couple of people saying, again, how to ask questions and gather information is difficult. Okay, well, the first question that we can ask in our OET roleplay is open questions. So they are precisely that, they are open. So they give you the freedom to speak openly regarding the question topic. The patient's answer could be any number of things. It's not just going to be a yes or no answer. We're going to look at some examples in a minute, so just stay with me. Yes, Joy, you would use open questions to ask about symptoms, exactly. Let's have a look then. Why should we use open questions? To gather information, so just like Joy said, to ask about symptoms or routines, we need to get this information using open questions. To clarify or follow up on additional information and give more detail. So if we want to check something that we've asked a patient and get more information, more detailed information, we'll ask an open question. We can allow the patient to offer their opinions and sentiments on their condition as well. So it involves the patient in the conversation and allows them to tell you how they feel about the information you're giving them. And it offers more accurate information and actionable insight for the professional. So when you need more details in order to action something, this is when you will ask open questions. It also creates a dialogue and rapport while allowing the professional to still steer the conversation. So remember, you should be directing the conversation, but using open questions means you can make it more of a dialogue and involve the patient in the conversation, which of course is very important. So let's have a look at some example open questions. Now, if you would like to, you can even post some in the comments, maybe some examples of open questions that you use. Let's have a look at some of these. How would you describe your pain? So a question like this allows the patient to give information about their pain without you directing them to a particular answer. How long have you been experiencing these symptoms? How do you feel about the suggested treatment? So like we mentioned before, it allows the patient to give their opinion and talk about their feelings with regards to what you've said. What are you currently doing to alleviate your symptoms? Okay, so these are just a few. We'll just go back here for a moment and see if anyone has other examples of questions you can ask. Open questions. I was going to say OET questions then. Open questions that you can ask in the role play. Can anybody think of a nice example? Let's see. Do you remember anything that triggered your pain? Okay, so often when we start a question with do you, the answer is usually yes or no. So you just need to reword that a little bit and say, you could say, for example, what triggered your pain exactly? So yes, that is a good example though. Now we're going to have a look at an example role play here. Okay, so read through the role play and think what open questions could be asked in this scenario. And then you can comment in the chat box and write in the comments. So quickly read through this role play. We're in a community health center. This is a role play for a nurse. We've got an 18-year-old patient who has come to see you. Read through the tasks here in the bullet points and then decide what open questions could be asked in this scenario. I can just see a nice example. Can you rate your pain in a pain scale? That's a nice one, Blue. I like that. And yes, that is an open question because it allows the patient to give an answer that's not just yes or no. So what do we think about this role play then? What open questions could we ask the patient in this situation? Maybe look at the first bullet point where it says, find out details about the patient's panic attacks. What questions could you ask to find out the symptoms, the duration, previous occurrences? What open questions could you ask for that bullet point, for that task? We've got explore possible triggers, so I think Joy's question addresses that perfectly. Okay, so any others? Think about how you would ask about symptoms. What open question would you use for symptoms? Any ideas? Okay. So if you remember, we had a question on the previous slide. Could you please describe your symptoms? Okay, lovely. We've got a question here. Perhaps you could tell me about the symptoms that you experience. Nice. That is absolutely an open question and a very good one as well. Okay, let's move on then. We've got how long have you experienced these panic attacks? Now that tells us about duration. What do you think causes them? So that's finding out about the trigger, perhaps. How do you feel when you experience them? What do you currently do to alleviate these episodes? So let's just hang back here a moment. We've got one here from Tara saying, would you mind telling me how long you have been experiencing How long? Okay, I'm just going to word that slightly, Tara. How long have you been experiencing these symptoms? Perfect. Could you please explain more about your symptoms? Yes, that's also a good question. So you can see here that these types of open questions are getting the patient to give us the information we need. Now let's move on. The next question type we're going to talk about today. Can anybody guess? We just talked about open questions. What do you think the other question type is? Let's see, I'm going to give you just a moment to think about what the opposite of the open question could be. Yep, that's right, you guessed it. Closed questions. Yes, very good. Well done, Chipego, exactly. So what are closed questions? These are much more focused, and these allow you to choose and offer a limited set of responses before. So like I mentioned earlier, a yes or no answer. Now, this is very useful if you want to ask for something very specific, keep the question focused, and you want more limited responses to yes or no. Yeah, good. I can see lots of people got that. They said closed questions. Well done. So why should we use, oh, I think that's supposed to say closed questions. Why should we use closed questions? So give information and check for understanding. Check the patient understood what you said. To probe for further information and clarifying details. To acquire very specific information. We just want a yes or no. Or to bring a particularly difficult conversation or topic to a close. Now let's have a look at some examples of closed questions. And please, as I do this, write your examples in the comments. So give me some examples of closed questions, and let's have a look at some examples as well. Have you experienced these symptoms before? We've got a yes or no answer for that. Would you like to hear about your treatment options? Is that what you were looking for? Does this answer your question? So you can see that these last two questions can be used to check that the patient has understood or the patient has received the information they needed. The first two, or the first question, allows us to get some very specific information. And would you like to hear about your treatment options? That's a nice, polite way of involving the patient in the conversation while finding out if they want to proceed. So these are my examples of closed questions. Please feel free to add your examples of closed questions into the chat, and I will help you. Okay. Oh, we've got another one. Is this okay for you? Yeah, it's always nice to get some element of consent from the patient if you're talking about treatment options, perhaps, and to check that they feel okay with what you've suggested. Now we have another role play here. This time we have a doctor's role play. So once again, read through the tasks that you need to complete. What closed questions could you ask in this scenario? Look at each bullet point and think about how you might use a closed question in order to get the information. So we've got find out about the patient's symptoms and concerns. Now at this point, we're probably going to ask open questions. We're gathering a range of information. And then we've got explore the patient's lifestyle. So would you ask any closed questions here? The possible significance of the symptoms. And then we're moving on to briefly explain diabetes and outline the next steps. So at what point would you ask a closed question here? Think about the examples that we looked at earlier and write them into the comments. I would love to give you some feedback on those. So I can see a question here that says, it seems that something's bothering you. Can you explain? I would say that it's better to, the question that we looked at earlier, could you please explain maybe what's been bothering you? If you say something like, you seem as if something's bothering you, it's not rude, but it's not really appropriate to say that to a patient, okay? Oh, you seem as if, it's also quite leading as well. So try to avoid using that kind of language. But can you please explain what's been bothering you? That's absolutely fine, okay? So we've had a moment here to think about our closed questions. Let's now see some examples. Have you experienced these symptoms before? Do you know much about the 2 types of diabetes? So this is a good question to ask because you don't want to start talking about diabetes if the patient already knows. So you want to check if they know anything before you start explaining. Would you like to hear about the next steps for treatment? Are you happy to proceed with this treatment? And there we go, that's all of them there. So let's see, compare your closed questions to these ones. Maybe you had some more and that's completely okay. Have you been exercising? Yeah, you could ask that as a closed question, or do you exercise regularly, perhaps? Or if you want to know in more detail, you can then follow that up with what type of exercise and how often. So, but yes, it's good to ask a closed question for that first. Do you exercise? Or how often do you exercise is okay. Right then. So we've talked about open and closed questions, and hopefully you can see the difference and the value in both of them. Now let's think about open and closed questions to avoid in your OET role play. Compound questions. What are compound questions? Compound questions are when you're asking about 2 things in one question. So look at this example. Have you had shortness of breath or felt dizzy when exercising? That is 2 questions that you're asking in one, because the patient needs to answer about the shortness of breath and the feeling dizzy. You should not ask about 2 things in one question, because perhaps the patient will only answer one of them. And if this is important information that you need to get, that you need to gather, you need to ask them individually. Okay, so do not ask compound questions where you have 2 pieces of information in the same question. It creates uncertainty. It can make the patient feel confused. They might not answer both, like I mentioned before. And it can also confuse the question and disrupt the role play flow. So avoid compound questions. The next one is leading questions. Now, I did mention this earlier. You have put on weight, haven't you? This is a very leading question because to a question like this, the patient is likely to say yes, whether it's true or not. And you don't want to do that because the information you gather needs to be accurate. It's based on an assumption, and that can be difficult for the patient to contradict. So you could be gathering information there which is not accurate. So we do not want to lead the patient. Inappropriate closed questions. Let's take a look at an example of a closed question that's inappropriate. Do you understand? Now, I have seen a couple of people have put this into the comments. Do you understand? But the reason that we shouldn't be asking the question like this, or am I being clear, is that it can be perceived as aggressive or rude. Do you understand? It's quite direct. Am I being clear? Again, they're quite direct. So let's think about how we can make these more polite. Have you understood everything I've told you so far? Okay, that's a much more polite way. Generally in English, the more words you use in a question, the more polite it is. Okay, am I being clear? It's very short and direct. Can I just check that everything is clear? Much more polite. Okay, right, we're moving on to a quiz now. So I'm going to show you an example of a question, and you're going to indicate in the comments what type of question it is. Let me show you the first one. So you can see you need to choose from open, closed, compound, or leading. So with this question here, how often do you drink alcohol? Write in the comments, is it open, closed, compound, or leading? I'll give you a few seconds. Think about the answer the patient will give. Is this a yes or no answer? Okay, I can see, right, yeah, we've got a few people saying open. Okay, how often do you drink alcohol? Because the patient will respond with the duration, not the duration, I'm sorry, the frequency with which they drink alcohol. It's not a yes or no question. That is good news, right? What type of question is this? That is good news, right? Think about some of the examples we looked at today. Open, closed, compound, or leading. So we've stated that's good news, right? We want the patient to maybe agree with this. Yes, yep. Well done, everybody. It's a leading question because it's very difficult for the patient to disagree with this kind of question. Hello, Ryan. How are you feeling today? Open, closed, compound, or leading? Now, we are saying this most likely at the beginning of our consultation. How are you feeling today? How would the patient answer this? Okay, we've got a few different answers. Yep, well done. It is an open question. How are you feeling today is an open question. Do you feel better knowing what your next steps are? What type of question is this? How would the patient answer this question? Is this a yes or no answer? Or could they say any number of things? Yep. Yeah, good. Closed, exactly. It's a yes, no. Do you feel better? Yes or no? Closed question. Have you been applying ice to your injury or taking anti-inflammatory medication? What type of question is this? Wow, Vandal, that was very, very fast response for this one. Okay. Have you been applying ice or taking anti-inflammatory medication? How many questions are in there? Absolutely. Yes, it's a compound question. Remember, we should avoid these because we've got two pieces of information in the same question that will just be confusing. Have I made myself clear to you? What type of question is this? What do we think? Think about how the patient answers it. Have I made myself clear? Remember, this is a more polite version of am I clear or am I being clear, whatever our example was. Yes, closed. Well done. Closed question. Right, so we are now going to move on to the part of our class where some people can come and join in and take part in a live role play with me and receive some feedback. Now, before we do that, we're going to look at some assessment questions that you can ask yourself while you're listening to the role play. So we've got the linguistic criteria. Did the speaker speak clearly and was easy to understand? Did they vary their pronunciation and intonation relevantly? Did the speaker speak fluently and smoothly with few hesitations and false starts? Did the speaker use appropriate language and tone? Did they use relevant and correct vocabulary and grammatical structures? So these all fall into the linguistic criteria. We're thinking about our fluency, our grammar and vocabulary, our pronunciation as well. Next, we've got some questions for the clinical communication criteria. Did the speaker speak in a way that offered empathy and support? Remember, a very important part of this role play is showing that you can show empathy and support your patient. Did they listen to the patient and respond effectively and appropriately? Important to show that you've listened and incorporated the patient's perspective. Was the delivery of information structured appropriately? So remember, you've got to give structure. And was the patient satisfied with your delivery of information? So a few things to keep in mind for the clinical communication criteria today. And I would like, if you're not taking part in the role play, I would like you to think about these questions and then give some feedback in the comments once the role play has finished. Right, before I move on to show you the role play card, I'll just remind everybody how this is going to work. So I'm going to show you the role play card, and you will have 3 minutes to read, make notes, and prepare, and then we will begin. Now, during those 3 minutes, I'm going to post a link into the comments to invite some people in and take part with me. Now, we'll do a role play for nurses and another one for doctors. So we've got 2 opportunities here, one for a nurse and one for a doctor. So if you are in either of those professions, you can click on the link and join the class now. And I will then choose somebody from the class to take part in a role play with me. Now let me just display the role play card once more. Here we go. And I'm going to start 3 minutes now of preparation time for everybody. And during that time, I invite you all to come in. So click on the link. And if you would like to take part in that role play, please do join the class now. I'll be very happy to have you in here. So once again, if you would like to come in at this point and take part in a role play with me, this role card is for a nurse, as you can see. So I invite any nurses to come in now and join me. Okay, so there is still some spaces available in the class for anyone that wants to come in now. If you are a doctor, you can also come in because we will be doing a doctor role play very, very soon. We're going to do nurses first, and then we'll be doing a doctor role play. So you are very, very welcome to come in if you are a doctor and wait for the next role play. In the meantime, any nurses out there who would like to take part, please do come and join me. It's a great opportunity to have a go at a role play and get some feedback on the spot. It's really important to get feedback for the OET role play. Oh, excellent. I can see some people coming in now. Wonderful. Okay. Right. Just a few more seconds then for preparing. Right, I think we've had our 3 minutes of preparation time. Now I am just going to wait a little bit because I think there are probably some people who are wanting to come into the class but aren't quite here yet. So I'm going to give you a few more moments to join. I can see Blue has said, me, I want to join. Blue, click on the link in the comments. I've just posted it below and you will be able to join the class. Yeah, excellent. Very nice. Well done. Okay, I think I saw Joy in here a minute ago, but she's just left. Joy, are you going to come and join and do a role play with me today? Okay, while I'm waiting for some people to come in and join the class, let's go through this role card and think about the questions that we might like to ask during the role play. So the first task is to find out details about the patient's panic attacks. Now, if you remember, we looked at this role card earlier. Can you remember the questions that we want to ask to find out about symptoms, the duration, the previous occurrences? Will we use open or closed questions for these? Okay. Okay, I can see that we've got somebody come into the class here, although I'm not quite sure if your device is connected. So I'm just going to give you a moment, Halima, to connect. Oh, here we go. We've got some people coming in now. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Okay, now this is a nurse role play, so I'm going to bring in a nurse to begin with. Now I can see that we've got Yatri in the class here. Yatri, I'm going to assume that you're a nurse, but if not, you are very welcome to let me know and we will choose somebody else. So let's have a look and bring Yatri into the stream now.
I'm a doctor.
Oh, you're a doctor. Okay, no worries, Yatri. We'll maybe bring you back later. Thank you. Okay, Blue. Let's bring in Blue because I think that you were speaking to me earlier. Hello. Hello, are you there? Oh, maybe Blue just needs a moment to connect. Okay, let's try somebody else. I can see Patience. Patience, I'm going to bring you in now and see if you would like to do the role play with me, okay? Hello. Hi, Patience. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me? Hi, Patience. You're in the stream now. Would you like to take part in the role play? Oh, maybe not quite. Okay, let's see if there's anybody else who's able to. Might be having some technical difficulties today. That's okay. How about Joy? Joy, I'm going to bring you in because I noticed that you want to do the doctor. Okay, I'll keep you in mind for the doctor role play. Okay, we've got lots of doctors in the class today, but do we have any nurses who can come in and do the role play with me? I've posted the link once more. That's great. Okay, Kerem, I can see that you've put doctor in your name. That's perfect. That will help me for later. What about a nurse? Have we got a nurse in the class? Oh, I can see Dr. Jamil says, I'm a nurse. Come into the class, Dr. Jamil. Are you a nurse or are you a doctor? Okay, I'm going to try once more. Juby is a nurse. Okay, all these nurses, please do come and join. The link is there. Link is there in the chat. You need to click on that. I'm going to Okay, Blue says I'm a nurse. Blue, I'm going to bring you back in and see if you can do the role play with me. Hello. Hello, Blue. Can you hear me? Okay, everybody. So I can see we have a doctor in the stream ready to go. I can see Kerem is here. So Kerem, I'm going to bring you in and see if you would like to do a doctor role play with me. Hello, Kerem.
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you too?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Very good. Just trying to find someone to do a role play with me. I'm so glad that you are here and ready. Sorry about that just now, everyone. I was speaking with my microphone muted. I'm so sorry. Now, Kerem, I've got a role play card for you. What I'm going to do is show you the role play card and give you 3 minutes to prepare because it's different to the one I showed before. Okay, can you see that, Kerem?
Okay. Yes, clearly.
Okay, I'll make it a bit bigger. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to prepare and make some notes, and then we'll do the role play, okay? Right then, Kerem, that's your 3 minutes preparation time. So we are now going to do the role play together, and I'll just be making notes as we go so I can give you some feedback afterwards, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so when you're ready, you can begin.
Okay. Hello, I am Dr. Kerem. How may I help you today? First, sorry, how may I address you during this conversation?
I'm Grace.
Oh, nice to meet you, Grace. How may I help you today?
Well, I've come today because I've been feeling really tired and unwell recently, and I'm quite worried.
Oh, I understand. How long have you been experiencing these symptoms?
Oh, it's difficult to say. Maybe about a month that I've been feeling this way.
Okay, for a month. And do you experience any other symptoms?
Yes, well, sometimes I feel dizzy, breathless, I get quite thirsty, and I've sometimes had itchy skin. I don't know if it's all related.
Okay. And I want to ask a few questions about your daily routines. So, can you tell me about your daily life, such as your job or other things?
Well, I've quite a busy life. I work in an office. I would say it's a bit stressful. And at home, I've got 3 children. They're teenagers, so it keeps me quite busy, to be honest.
Okay. Can you do any exercise?
I don't really have time for exercise, no. No, I would like to, but I just don't have time.
And briefly, can you explain about your diet, please?
My diet, I try to have a healthy diet, but I think that probably I am overweight. I sometimes eat greasy food and fried food, so maybe I could eat more vegetables. Yeah.
Okay, so I understand you have a busy life and you can't do regular exercises, and sometimes you can't eat maybe so balanced and maybe so much for maybe good food. So you feel these symptoms for several reasons, I think, and I would like to explain a few of them for you. Is that okay for you?
Yes, that's fine. Actually, the reason I came was because I think maybe I have diabetes. Do you think that that could be possible?
Yes, this is a great questions, and of course, this can be the one of the reasons why you feel like this. Have you heard about diabetes, or how much do you know about this?
Not very much, to be honest. I would like to know how it's treated.
Okay, so I want to explain you the diabetes, if you don't mind. We have two types of diabetes. The first one is type 1. And in your case, I don't think this is possible because type 1 diabetes is generally starts in childhood age, and it's completely absence of the insulin. But type 2 diabetes is more likely to be causing these problems for you because you are an adult, and this type also generally starts in adult age, and it's a kind of problem with high blood sugar levels. And if you want to hear, I would like to explain about how you can manage this problem. But I must say that we didn't confirm your diagnosis, just this is a possibility.
Okay, so can you tell me about the treatment in case I do have it?
Okay, I will. We have some medications, both orally and sometimes the patients need some injections. And also the diet and regular exercises are very important to manage this disease. And of course, generally the diabetic patients are need to monitor their blood glucose levels. Uh, and this will help you manage the situation for diabetic patients. Is that clear for you?
Yes. So what do you recommend I do now?
So I recommend we should make some tests, especially some blood tests, and approximately for 1 week later, I will call you back to discuss the results with you, and then we will see if you have diabetes or another situation. And during this time, I recommend strongly to uh, uh, to try more exercise and eat more healthy foods. And if you can, please avoid from stress.
Okay, I will do all of those things. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I think it's clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, I thank you too.
Great. Okay, thank you, Kerem. How did you feel during the role play?
I can hear my heartbeats now. I'm very excited. I think I talk a lot. I couldn't stop. This maybe I talk a bit more than enough. I don't know. I
Okay,
want to hear your recommendation.
well, that's actually some good self-reflection that you just did there, Kerem. So let me start with some things I noticed that you did well. The way you started the role play was great, and you started with a nice open question. So can you tell me about? And the way that you ask your questions is very appropriate. So it's polite, they're clear, and you were able to gather information very effectively. Another thing I think you did well was showing empathy, and you used your intonation at times. So at one point, I think you said, "Oh, that's a great question." So you made the patient feel comfortable, and you were showing empathy throughout the consultation. You also, I think, in the middle of the role play, you summarized. So you summarized what I had told you, just to check that you got it right. All very, very good. You mentioned that you thought maybe you talked too much. I don't think you talked too much, but I think what you could do is pause to check the patient understands. So when you were talking about diabetes, you were explaining the different types of diabetes, and you explained the treatment options. In both those sections, I would consider just pausing in the middle to check the patient has understood. You did do it at the end, but just be wary of those long descriptions. You can take a moment just to check the patient's understood what you've said. And just one grammatical thing I want to pick up on. You mentioned in childhood age and in adult age. So we should say just in childhood. We don't need to say in childhood age, and we can say in adulthood. So again, we don't need to say age. But apart from that, I think you were quite accurate. You didn't make very many grammatical mistakes. Your pronunciation was clear. You spoke at a good speed. So I think for you, it's just focusing on making sure that you don't give large amounts of information all in one go. Does that make sense?
Yes, your recommendations are very important for me. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Kerem. Thank you so much for coming in and joining me today. I really appreciate it. It can be quite scary to come up here and do this, but you did an amazing job, so thank you very much.
I thank you too.
Okay, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, oh, sorry, there we go. Okay, wonderful. So thank you so much, Kerem. Now, we are going to do a role play for nurses, as I mentioned before, so I'm just going to pop that link into the chat one more time. But before we do that, I would like to take a moment to talk to you about our OET Preparation Masterclass. So if you have been enjoying the tips and advice that you've received in this class, come along and join our free online OET Preparation Masterclass. Now, in this session, we'll give you exam preparation strategies and methods. We give you tips and do activities on all 4 OET skills. We answer your questions live in the session, And there will, of course, be other surprises and bonuses along the way. Now, how can you register for this very exciting masterclass? Now, if you are watching this session from YouTube, if you go to the description and click Show More, so if you find that just below the video, click on Show More, you will see that there is a masterclass link. So everybody should be able to see that. And I am also just going to pop that into the comments for you in case you can't find it. So follow the link, and that is how you can register for our free masterclass. So once you've clicked on the link, it will take you to the registration page. Now, if you are watching this session today from Facebook, we also have a link in the description right here. So click on the link in the description, or you can also check out the comments because you'll also find it there. And once you've clicked on that link, it will take you to this page, and all you have to do is enter your details here. Oops, I'm sorry. So you'll be entering your name and your email address, and you'll receive further information from us on how to join the masterclass. I really do recommend that you come along. You'll get the opportunity to have your questions answered live in the class. All those burning questions that you've got about OET, you can come and ask them. Or if you would rather, you can email us. So here is our email address right here for you now. And if you just write masterclass, our team can help get you set up to register. So go to the comments, go to the description, click on that link and sign up for our free OET Masterclass, or send us an email, inquiries@swooshenglish.com. We'll be very happy to help get you set up and registered for that class. So we're going to move on now. Now, I would love to do a nurse's role play with everybody. I just need to check that we have a nurse in the class who is happy to come in. Now, I can see that we've got Rihanna. Rihanna's in the class today. I'm not sure, Rihanna, if you're ready to come in. Anybody else? I'm going to display our lovely nurse's role play right now. Here it is. This is the one we had earlier. Okay, let's have a look. I've got Gift in the class. Gift, would you like to come in and do a role play with me? I'm going to bring you in and see if you would like to do this nurse's role play. Let's have a look. Hi, Gift.
Hi, how are you?
Are you okay? Gift, important question. Are you a nurse?
Yes, I'm a nurse.
Oh, excellent. And would you like to have a go at this role play with me?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so happy. Now, I'll give you a few minutes to look at the role play card and prepare. Okay, so if I give you 3 minutes, I'll put it on the screen and you can make some notes and then we'll do the role play, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So are you ready? Have you made your notes? All prepared?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. All right, well, when you're ready, we can begin.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. I'm Ness. I'm the nurse on duty. How would you like me to address you?
My name is Grace.
Okay. Thank you, Grace. What brings you here today? How can I help you?
Well, I'm here because I think I've been having panic attacks recently. I don't know, but I think that's what is happening.
Okay. Would you mind telling me how the symptoms are and how long they last?
Well, I feel like short of breath. I'm trembling. I can feel my heart is pounding, and sometimes I feel some sharp pain in my chest and some constriction.
Okay, I do understand. The shortness of breath and the other symptoms, how long do they last?
It's sometimes as long as 20 minutes.
Okay. Might you know anything that triggers it, like any possible triggers that you know? What triggers the attacks?
Well, I have been feeling quite anxious recently because I've got quite an important exam coming up in 2 months. So it could be that.
Okay, I do understand. Your panic attacks, that's a normal response. It's a normal feeling. We tend to be anxious because of exams. Yes, I do understand. The exams tend to make us feel nervous because probably maybe you don't know what the questions they'll bring in the exam. I do understand.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm really worried because I don't know if it means there's a more serious problem. So it is making me quite anxious.
Okay, I do understand. I can reassure you that that's a normal response to before writing the exams. That's a normal response, and it can be managed. Um, for example, sorry.
Oh,
For
no,
example, before the exams, I think you can try maybe going to a quiet place. You visualize something peaceful, like maybe looking at the sunset. Yes, and trying even to practice healthy habits like resting and making sure to even eat well and have enough sleep. Yes, it's very important.
okay.
Understand?
I'll try some of those. Is there anything that you can do for me?
For now, I think what we can do for you is just to make sure that you make sure that you have a healthy habit, you rest enough, and make sure you have enough sleep. Yes.
Okay, I'll try some of those. But is there anything you can do for me now, maybe that can help apart from the suggestions of the self-care strategies?
For now, I would advise you to attend the community health center visits, like making sure that you exercise, breathing and relaxing technique. Like right now, you can try to have breathing in exercises so that you try to relax because it will help you to um, relieve the panic attack as of now. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I'll try those things.
Yes. Is it okay for you?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. How did you
Is there
feel?
anything else that I can? Do you have any other question?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay. So, Gift, how did you feel doing the role play there?
I was a bit nervous, and it's my first time doing a role play, so I don't know how I have done.
Well, no, I think, have you done a practice role play like that before?
No.
Oh, that was your first time. Oh, amazing. Okay. Well, considering that was your first time doing it up here in front of everybody, you did a great job. Let me just talk about some of the things that I think you did well. Oh, are you still there? Oh, I'm not sure if we've lost Gift there. Okay, I'm going to keep talking because hopefully she can watch this back later for my feedback. But Gift, what I wanted to say was that something you did well was showing empathy. So you were very good at incorporating the patient's perspective. You said things like, I do understand, I can reassure you that. All of those were really great ways of showing empathy in the role play. Oh, I think we've lost her there. Okay, another thing that I think Gift did well was that she didn't give too much information all in one go. So the information was structured, and there were some good use of closed and open questions. Now, one thing I did notice was a compound question. I don't know if anybody else spotted that. But Gift, if you're watching, just be careful, because one of the questions you asked me, you said, can you tell me a bit about the symptoms and how long you've been experiencing them? So we just want to avoid asking two things in one question, because as the patient, I only told you about the symptoms, which meant you then had to ask me about the duration once again. Okay, so just to keep that in mind, to avoid the compound questions. But thank you so much, Gift. I don't know if you're all there watching now. I think we just lost the connection there, but thank you so much for coming and doing the role play with me. I do really appreciate it, and it was lovely to have you here. So everybody, that is our role plays finished for today. Thank you so much for everyone who participated. Now let me just share with you once again some information about our masterclass. So if you've enjoyed the session today and you found it useful, I would love to invite you to join our free OET preparation masterclass. Okay, so this is for more expert tips and advice on how to pass your OET exam the first time. We'll be introducing you to lots of really useful strategies, some methods that you can use. We'll answer all your questions live in the session. Now, I would just take a moment to encourage anybody here, if you've got any questions about the session today, please do put them in the chat, put them in the comments. I would love to answer your questions. Now, let me just remind you once again how you can join our OET Masterclass. So, things that we need to pass first time. We need motivation to succeed. We need time, tools, and support and feedback. So do you have all of these things? So do you have motivation to succeed in your OET exam? Do you have the time that you need in order to get there? Do you have the necessary tools in order to do your preparation effectively? And perhaps most importantly, do you have support and feedback from expert OET teachers who can help you to pass first time? If you have all of these, great. If not, I'd like to encourage you to join our OET Masterclass. Now, once again, if you're watching today from YouTube and you go to the description, click Show More, and you will see the Masterclass link right there. Okay, now I am going to also pop that into the comments for you so that you can find the Masterclass link from YouTube. And once you've clicked on the link, it will take you through to a registration page where you can join our Masterclass. If you're watching from Facebook, click the link in the description and also check out the comments. So if you're sitting there thinking you would love to join an OET Masterclass with us at Swoosh English, please click on that link in the description and sign up today. All you have to do is enter these two boxes with your name and email address, and we will help get you signed up. It's that easy. Or if you would like to, you are more than welcome to email us at inquiries@swooshenglish.com. Write Masterclass and our team will help get you set up. So please do come along and join our masterclass. I would love to see as many of you as possible here. The next masterclass will be on speaking on the 21st of October at 3 p.m. That's GMT UK time. So if you would like to come along to that speaking masterclass, it's on the 21st of October. Follow all of the instructions, click the link in the comments or in the description and get signed up today. Now I'm going to have a moment just to answer a couple of questions I can see in the chat. Nina has asked, how can you manage your time for role plays? Remember, the time spent on the role play should be about 5 minutes. So that is the length that you've got. My best recommendation is to practice doing role plays as much as you can, preferably with an OET teacher who knows how to help you structure your role play and can keep it limited to 5 minutes. This will help you get used to the length of a 5-minute role play so that in the real exam, you should be able to know, how long it's taking. Also, remember that these OET role plays have been designed to be completed in 5 minutes. So they're not giving you more tasks than is possible to complete. So if you're completing all of the tasks on the roll card and you're giving enough information, it should be about 5 minutes long. So I hope that answers your question, Naina. I don't see any other questions right now, but please do send me one if you've got one and I'll try to answer it later. But for now, everybody, just to remind you that our next OET Masterclass is on the 21st of October, and please do get signed up for that. That's it from me today. I really hope that you've enjoyed the session and found it useful. It's been great speaking to all of you, and have a lovely day. Goodbye, everybody.